Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Moon Knight. Okay, so the thing about Moon Knight is that a lot of people think that Oscar Isaac is Jewish because he said one time that he thought he might be Jewish, and that's where the Isaac came from and his name, Oscar Isaac. But the fact is, there's like, he's not Jewish culturally, religiously, culturally. Like, he may have Jewish ancestry, but he's not a practicing, he doesn't practice the religion. So basically, I had a problem with this, and I asked my friend to address it, and here's what she said, because she's actually Jewish. All right. This is the website MCU Fandom Hates People of Color. It's very similar to Star Wars Fandom Hates People of Color. And alrighty. Here's the post that she wrote for me. I just gave her the prompt, really. And first, what it says is representation on screen in comics adaptations. This isn't technically new news, but a friend mentioned this casting information and the combination of factors at play was intriguing. Representation with comics to screen adaptations, and I figured Tumblr is the most sensible place for me to talk about it, so let's go. Okay, so she does a rundown of the character of Moon Knight, human name Mark Spector, and they recently confirmed Oscar Isaac is playing the lead role. In the comics, Mark Spector is distinctly Jewish. Like, the father is literally a rabbi level of Jewish, and Oscar is not. Okay, so, like, she's talking about what I had already talked about how there's some interesting nuance here. Apparently, Oscar has made public statements about his father's side of the family having some Jewishness. He says that's where the Isaac comes from, and while his parents are evangelical Christians, that religiosity was a divisive issue between him and his parents, which, I don't know, as a Jew, I think there's an interesting conversation to be had about questioning the status quo being an essential quality of Jewishness, but obviously that's not sufficient to zero out the question of actual Jewishness. So, is there a mismatch? Is that mismatch a non-starter for me? Not yet, but let's talk specifics. Why I'm skeptical. Basic representation. By hiring a non-Jew to play an integrally Jewish character, Marvel Disney Corporation is taking away opportunities from specific community, paired with the fact that there are plenty of actual Jewish actors with appropriate industry clout to take the role. It's a bit of a head scratcher, to be honest. Example, you might recall the casting issue with Hellboy and the character Ben Daimio, who in the comics was specifically Asian, and originally they cast some white British guy, but after there was public outcry, they recast the role to Daniel Day Kim, who was Asian. Casting process. I also think we can't ignore that by U.S. American industry standards, Oscar is ethnically ambiguous, which I know. And yes, I know he has the most clout experience to earn the role on merit, but in a white supremacist society like the U.S., race will always be a factor, and I would not be surprised if casting folks saw his darker features and larger nose and went, oh, close enough, which, just in case, needs to be saying, that sucks. Why I'm still hopeful. Nuanced representation. Since I doubt they'd recast the role, the main thing I hope they do is maintain the character's Jewishness. Paired with the fact that Oscar is Latin, that is actually a really cool opportunity to highlight Ladino, basically a mix of Spanish and Hebrew. Do some Googles if you're unfamiliar. It's pretty interesting, language and culture. And at the end of this day, in this situation, I think the upsides of highlighting a relatively unknown culture on a global platform outweigh the downsides of context of their casting choices. Speaking of casting production, however much they're going to involve the father character, I think it's important to cast a Jewish Latin actor in the role. I would also love it if they involved Ladino scholars and academics on how to bring in cultural elements through the series to have narrative representation throughout the story. As much as I'm in the lol, not gonna hold my breath for Marvel to do anything except upholding patriarchy camp, since the Moon Knight series seems to be still in production stages, they have time to incorporate these cultural elements of Jewishness if they haven't already, which, to be honest, I doubt. But hey, I'm always ready to be surprised, and do right by the comics character and story. P.S. Shout out to me for the prompt. Okay, so I've read the whole thing. You can read the whole thing if you don't want me reading it and all mumbly and rambly. But I did want to touch on some people. When I originally reblogged this, they would ask questions to the different blogs, and they would be like, well, who else could have taken the role? Because obviously they wanted to cast an actor of color in it. Who else could have taken the role and actually be Jewish? And I had a response. I believe it's here. Okay, no. Here. No. Here. Alrighty. I think Daveed Diggs from Hamilton and would have been a perfect choice. This is his mother was Jewish and his father was African American, and his name David is the Hebrew pronunciation of David. Sorry, David is okay. Anyways, so like he's a man of color and Jewish, and I think that would have been a really neat casting choice, personally. But of course, now it's too late for them to do that. But I feel like Disney did whatever they wanted to with Moon Knight because so few people know about Moon Knight and they don't care that he's Jewish, and they're just looking for a chance to race bend an actor. But like Jewish people are conditionally white. It's not like they're just white and that's it. Like they do have light skin privilege, a lot of them that are lighter, but there are people of color that are Jewish. So I mean, they could have cast somebody like Daveed Diggs and race bent the character and still kept him Jewish. So I hope, along with my friend, that they do keep the character Jewish. That would be nice. Oh, yes, and the reason I'm finally making this video is because I realized that they dropped the teaser trailer a couple of days ago, and they're going to drop the actual trailer pretty soon with the release date. I think we should talk about this. And, I mean, obviously it's too late to change the production for, like, the storytelling elements if they've wiped away all the Jewishness and just, I don't know. Like, I have no idea at this point what it's going to entail because we get so little from the teaser trailer. But, yeah, I hope this encourages you to engage with the media critically and hopefully think about the fact that the only Jewish superheroes that we have in the MCU were pretty much Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. He only got the two solo films, and then he did No Way Home. But, like, yeah, 2 out of 3 Spider-Men were not Jewish. And I can't think of a single other Jewish character in the MCU. Like, I know a lot of people like to respect Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings' characters, Darcy Lewis and Jane Foster, as Jewish because they're Jewish. The actresses are Jewish. But that seems to be a fandom-specific thing. I'm pretty sure canon hasn't supported that. And it would be nice if they did that, but I'm not... If, like, they made them canonically Jewish, but again, we don't know. So, yes, I am not Jewish. I just wanted to clarify that because my blogs talk about representation for different ethnic groups, and I feel comfortable talking about it, and I don't mind getting hate. I've gotten very used to it over the years. I don't mind if you're angry about this. I can talk to you about it calmly because I've learned how to over the years. So go ahead, leave your comments. We can talk about it in the next video or in the comments. And thanks for watching. Have a good day.